In this video, I'll be reviewing a scrim between Optic and TSM, using every tool at our disposal to show you how dominant this Optic gaming roster is. Renegade hit the nastiest triple kill, and I decided we have to watch this game. And while that clip is filthy, it's just a moment in a performance from Renegade that could be considered a masterclass on how to play Halo Infinite's newest map, Origin. By the end of this video, you should be able to recognize three main things. The first, how important timing is for a team to be successful on Origin. Optic play hyper efficient with their kills on the map, and they waste no time moving the objective. Next is how simple mistakes can snowball into disaster for teams. TSM make a crucial mistake in the first 10 seconds, and they won't be able to recover. Finally, you'll see why Renegade is one of the best players in the HCS at controlling aggression. He's been playing at another level since joining Optic, but his ability to change his pace of game will differentiate him as one of the front runners in the inevitable MVP conversations this year. But before we get into that video, let me tell you about something that we just dropped. Some new merch. It's absolutely fire, and I'd love for you to be sporting this at all your HCS events. Pre-orders are open now at lvthalo.com, but you need to order soon if you want to have it for HCS Arlington later this year. So get involved, get signed up, and let's have a good time watching this video. Optic started the match with a 3-1 push towards the snipe side, leaving Renegade on Rockets as an isolated player. Isolated players have two roles. The first, get information for the teammates on the other side of the map. The second, do not lose your lane. They should play selfishly, playing only for their lives, not caring about what's happening on the other side of the map. Let's take a look at how Renegade plays this position. Renegade plays in a way to get information for his team. Instead of playing through rockets, he throws a checkmate and looks towards the middle of the map to give his team callouts. He catches Talik completely by surprise. Notice the power of the commando here. It's ideal range, and it shreds Talik. Just look at this from Talik's POV. He's dead before he can even react. Renegade follows up this play by having perfect execution on this challenge through Rock Street. He places his reticle exactly where Druck's standing. The damage done forces Druck down, which allows Renegade to target swap to a one-shot soul snipe to win rocket control. There's no one left on the map to prevent him from picking up these rockets and putting TSM for dead. Optic does a great job of playing forward with this damage. This gives them better timing to pull the flag. The term timing is often used in competitive Halo, and you can think of it like a window of opportunity for a player to make a play. So when Renegade wins his fight on the rocket side, Bound now has the freedom to move around the map and to get to the spot that he wants. As Bound moves up on the map, Optic Gaming keeps two things in mind. The first is whether they can pull the flag without the spawners engaging them. If Bound's timing is off, Optic Gaming pulls a flag as TSM kills them, and they lose their opportunity at a first flag capture. The other thing Optic needs to keep in mind are the spawns that they're blocking as a team. They want to block towards the direction that the flag carrier wants to go, ensuring a clean and safe route. As Renegade flies out to cut the spawners at Sniper, Formal's filling that position that's left behind. Legend's able to connect off Renegade immediately off spawn towards Sniper. Once Bound gets past the 50-yard line, look at what Formal does. He uses his timing window to open up the spawns on Elbow to partner up with Legend on their push into the base. This opens the spawn that's most exposed to the sniper angle that Renegade is holding. This is poetry in motion. We're 38 seconds into this game, and Optic already has a capture, and Renegade has 5 kills. Although Optic played the beginning of this game extremely well, it usually takes 2 for a game to spiral out of control this bad. Let's go back to the beginning and see what TSM did wrong. Focus on Druck's point of view in particular, and try to identify what you think the big mistake he made was. Druck commits a cardinal sin in professional Halo. Don't get caught cross mapping. Seriously, don't do it. It's terrible. It's a habit that many high-level Halo players still have today. In fact, I find it to be so pervasive that we're going to make a video just about how bad cross mapping is in Halo. Subscribe, get ready for that. It's coming soon. But let's get a better picture of what happens here to TSM and why cross mapping was so bad for them. TSM has a 3-1 split favoring the rocket side of the map. Soul Snipe spots 3 players crossing from the sniper and engages with one of them from the trench. This should sound alarm bells for Druck and Soul Snipe. They have a 2-on-1 numbers advantage against Renegade on the rocket side, and Renegade's position is well known after Talik dies in the window. You can see Druck reacting to that information by getting himself up into a spot to challenge Renegade, but he decides to look back at the cross just before the push. Since Talik went down early, TSM should be expecting a quick push from Optic Gaming as they want to take advantage of their surplus in numbers. It becomes mission critical for TSM to win at least one lane on the map. If they lose both elbow and cave control, Optic will almost certainly capture the first flag of the game. Soul Snipe and Druck should 100% of the time be looking at the rocket player together in this situation. In fact, Soul Snipe has his reticle placed perfectly to take on this challenge from Renegade. If Druck isn't shooting across the map but instead pre-aiming at top rockets, Renegade will certainly die in this push. And if they kill Renegade at Rocket Tower, TSM's actually in a really powerful spot. The remaining players of Optic Gaming would be disconnected on the map and trusting at least one of them to win a pivotal fight to continue on this Optic push. And winning those fights would be fairly unlikely because TSM would have control of the rockets in this situation. Remember, Sniper wasn't picked up by Optic Gaming at the start, so instead of having this overwhelming pressure in the base, TSM would be in a great position to fight back and work on a counterattack of their own. A simple mistake turned a tough situation for TSM into disaster. Their base is still overrun by Optic Gaming and they find themselves down 1-0 with Renegade running an absolute clinic with the sniper rifle. Not many options left, Cherish decides to overextend into Optic Gaming's base to make a play. These next few moments are going to be crucial in this game. It'll decide whether Optic Gaming get a second flag capture or if TSM can get a stop and start to stabilize this game. Cherish finds the kill on Formal, but the value stops there. Cherish decides to go to the window to try to cross map the potential flag runner, but Optic's waiting for him, and really it's a trap. Look at all the reticles ready and waiting on this window. Optic will score their second flag from this point after Cherish dies, but I don't necessarily think it was guaranteed before this death. When reviewing this game, I spoke to former professional coach Callus, and he gave some really interesting insight as to some of the options that Cherish had that could have helped stop this flag capture.
So we have Cherished highlighted in the blue circle. We know he sneaks into the Optic base and he's able to take out Formal in the cave. We know what happens when he goes window. He gets absolutely fried. Okay, but why is this play not optimal? One main reason. It's not safe. Playing a middle lane here the way Cherished did allows Formal to spawn anywhere, which is very unpredictable. So Formal and any players TSM may have slayed after could spawn either in the cave side or near the elbow side or even right behind Cherished if they get a back base spawn. Again, super unpredictable. However, playing a perimeter instead would have made the game so much more predictable because Cherish would be taking away one of those possible respawn points, making the game that much safer. And whatever you can predict, you can outplay. Alright, so let's take a look at both of those perimeter play options. If instead he had gone through the snipe side back towards the fridge, he's going to be able to coincide with his teammate on snipe, and this 2v1 might win them back the sniper, and then this would more than likely stop this flag dead in its tracks. Now there's another option. He could also opt to go back towards the elbow. There is something to be said about death cams. At this level of play, players are very disciplined and they will stay on their death cams and call you out.
Going window. He's just sitting there.
If Cherished would have played in a way to juke that out, it would have been such a big brain play to go window and then immediately double back towards the elbow. Legend would have been probably completely caught off guard, looking towards the window side, and getting caught from behind. This would get him behind Legend, and they would more than likely take him out. But the bigger piece of the picture here is that he would also be blocking the elbow spawns. And since Legend had pulled the flag out towards the elbow on the rocket lane, that's no longer an option for free anymore. Because Cherish is going to be blocking these spawns, Optic will no longer be able to spawn here and just get a free lane towards the flag and able to run it back, which is exactly what happened. So again, the main thing is the dilemma of the flag being pulled through the elbow. So if you can become the gatekeeper of the perimeter spawn of the lane the flag is being run, you're going to force the enemy team to spawn away from that lane, making it so much harder for them to continue that flag run.
The last thing I'd like to highlight from the scrim is just some of the individual plays that Renegade made throughout the game. There's going to be two specific ones that I want to go into, and what I find so impressive about these plays is how Renegade uses his lack of aggression to get kills, being sneaky and standing ground in order to make plays. The first play happened shortly before the second flag capture. Renegade hits a nasty no-scope on Talik, but quickly finds himself alone after Formal dies in trench. This leaves Renegade isolated on the sniper side. Remember the guidelines of how to play isolated? Play for information and only focus on your lane. Renegade does exactly that when he tucks himself into this corner below Sneaky. This position shrouds himself from any player that's not in his immediate lane. The goal is to catch an overextended player coming from Sneaky that's trying to stop the flag. This works exactly as Renegade intended, and he's able to get an easy kill. But think about what happens if Renegade is aggressive and fails to stop this overextender. Not only does Optic lose snipe side presence, but they also give away the sniper and give TSM a serious chance to stop the flag with just a simple body shot onto a weak flag runner. Renegade's patient, isolated play guarantees his team a second flag capture. The second situation comes much later in the game. TSM has finally been able to mount an attack after stopping this flag run. Notice what Renegade does after he spawns elbow. He doesn't move. Players often feel the need to immediately move after spawning, but Renegade reads the situation first. TSM's pushing into their base and he has one teammate alive at flag. Renegade spawns at elbow. This is good for Optic. It expands their map presence to two separate lanes. Renegade connects with Legend, forming a line through their base. After they work together for the first kill, the next spawner is Formal, who spawns just beside Legend. Renegade recognizes that he no longer needs to help Legend in his base and can play isolated in his lane. Once again, remember the rules of playing isolated Halo. Get information and defend your lane. He knows that there's a player in the middle map that was looking for him, so he uses the geometry of the map to cut that angle. He turns what should be a 1v2 into a 1v1 and executes perfectly. Also, notice how he takes this fight against Struck. I'm going to slow it way down. This is just gross. He uses geometry to sneak a shot to even the odds and then slides to finish the challenge. It's perfect execution to win what we call in the business a pivotal kill. The damage is done at this point. Legend immediately takes advantage of the timing gained by Renegade to get into TSM space and eventually pull what is the game-winning flag. If Renegade doesn't win this fight against Struck, then Legend wouldn't have the timing to push into the base of Optic. And it would probably be a neutral fight between Optic and TSM to gain map control. Also, a side note here, TSM get caught shooting across the map again. Look at how easy it was for Legend to get this kill on Talik. Seriously, folks, if you take one lesson from this video, stop cross-mapping. It is horrible. I hope to see players adopt the playstyle of Renegade and Optic Gaming in the future. They make quick, decisive movements based off information given on the map. When you ask Onyx players what their biggest challenge is when playing against professionals in matchmaking, they'll say the speed of the game. Pro players move faster than what seems possible. This is because pro players understand their timing. It's as if it was second nature to them. They don't need to think about whether they can or can't. They just do. These decisive actions make them hard to play against. It's Start to recognize your own timings in your gameplay. Work on recognizing what space and damage is on the map in real time. Many of these plays that Renegade made throughout the game wouldn't have worked if it wasn't for the rest of Optic recognizing the timing that Renegade was giving them to move up on the map. That's why Optic Gaming is so good. It's not just because one player can go and get a triple kill. It's because every player on the team recognizes what that damage represents on the map, what space it gives them, and how they can take advantage of the other team. One last gift before I go. Guys, I want to show you the Renegade triple kill one last time. But this time I'm going to put all of TSM's point of views on it as well. Honestly, I don't know what you're supposed to do about Renegade when he's hitting shots like this.
Crossing left. One truck, absolute basement. Absolute basement, absolute basement.
Basement dead, absolute. And
Mother flag, mate. Elbow to flag, in there.
Basement.
Let's get basement. Dead? Oh my god.